Welcome to One Poem Only. I'm Maggie Devers. On Sundays, we do things a little differently. Instead of just one poem, today I'll read all the poems from the past week. A quiet recap, a second listen, or maybe a first chance to catch what you missed. And at the end, I'll share one new poem to carry us into the week ahead. So settle in, and let's revisit this week in verse. And then, something fresh to close. Timeline by Quinn Holm. I wrote spring and winter, I wrote winter and summer, and fall somewhere in between the changing weather. The nature in me has its own seasons. I'm not afraid of being forgotten, for my being needs no outside opinions. Things used to be and mistaken no longer have a place in my present. Long gone was their influence on my emotions. I'm now loved and nurtured every moment. The universe in me creates its own timeline. The inner reservoir in this child's eyes masters the healing and grows with pride as my inner light shines through the night. Things soon to be have now been realized. The hopes and dreams will soon be revived in this serene world of my own divine, because it is the life of my own design. When you lose what needs to be lost, it is actually a gain. You will see right through that pain that once paralyzed your mind, with the now blazing self-respect reflected in those eyes. My throat makes corridors into cloth, carries shimmering light. I have forgotten how fabric can be light as light. Stitches from hands I have not met rest lightly on my shoulder. It is the words, hard to say, that stick to my mind. It is your words that do not know how to die. Make me sing out wretched and loud. I strain them against the current, currently shaking into sea, salty and rocky. My throat feels the bulge of the apple cork stuck inside. I hope you'll still hear me. My throat makes sounds. I am not your enemy. I believe it to be true. This belief does not make it so. My eyes capture what you left behind. Footsteps transmuting light. We walked. Never the same are you, never the same am I. I hope we never meet again. The same. By atm.itm. As the ground begins to frost, we snuggle in heavier cloth to live out shortbread days, laden in chocolate, lavender and cedar smoke. Hugging hooded hours to soothe broken and healing layers, warm our hands by the fire, holding safe. As a crackling backup singer burgeons, creases intersecting, steely gaze in the blue flame of fiery humor, belting the lead. Cackles fill, growing darkness, heating our toes from the inside, and we'll tear open midnight's invitation to keep splitting peas and hairs over who gets the last piece of chocolate and the next kiss. By Esso. My poetry has big bones and big ideas too. She wears vintage lace, and she remembers every time she was slipped on. Poetry smokes green in the grass with her lover, and dissects the sun, for she remembers its inception. Poetry says, I'm with you in this life and the next. I will eat every piece of you whole, wiping up what's left and wringing the cloth out in my mouth, because my survival depends on your every drop. Poetry is the story that lives in the wooden box on the shelf, forgotten but not. Poetry is dragging you to the finish line and has 10,000 ways to say, you are necessary. For me, poetry is how I process my grief, my love, my numbness, the monsters under my bed. Poetry is how I breathe. By Bex. I dreamt I was in Paris, scents of coffee and absinthe wafting as olfactory wind chimes, typewriters snug on Boulevard Montparnasse, tables peppered with burgeoning authors, lost among their own generation, but destined to be famous for centuries. Drunk on wine, cigarettes, and delusion, sturdy as centenarian tree roots, that their precious moment in time, after war, was all that mattered. Which of course they were right. A ripple in the energetic tapestry of life, connecting them with me here, 100 years later, on a wooden table snug against a Smith Corona, drunk on the belief that this sliver of presence means just as much as it did to them, and that maybe it wasn't a dream after all, but a memory, as we find ourselves over and over again through the timeless echo of ink-drenched words. By Jen Bouton. Hearthside, by Dorothy Parker. Half across the world from me lie the lands I'll never see, I, whose longing lives and dies where a ship has sailed away, I, that never close my eyes but to look upon Cathay. Things I may not know nor tell, wait, where older waters swell, ways that flowered at Sappho's tread, winds that sighed in Homer's strings, vibrant with the singing dead, golden with the dust of wings. Under deeper skies than mine, quiet valleys dip and shine, where their tender grasses heal ancient scars of trench and tomb. I shall never walk nor kneel, where the bones of poets bloom. If I seek a lovelier part, where I travel goes my heart, where I stray my thought must go, with me wanders my desire, best to sit and watch the snow, turn the lock, and poke the fire. When the Hum Rises, by Maggie Devers. The outrage machine is always on like the neon in a 24-hour diner, but it doesn't use electricity. The continual dopamine hit of finding the wrong in someone else's right powers the nation. We live for the takedown, the misstep. We watch the trip and fall, never extending a hand, not understanding we're the ones flat on our face. What if we abandon the unending scroll of false justice? What if we suspend judgment even for a day? What if we realize our power can do more than keep the lights on? Thank you for listening, poetry lover. Come back tomorrow. The curtain rises again.